Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is the Walkthrough King, and moments ago it was just announced that Activision and Bungie are ending their partnership with Destiny, and that Destiny will now be published solely by Bungie, and it is solely in Bungie's hands. Charlie Intel reported that the news came as Activision executives have been unhappy with the revenue from Destiny, and we have also seen over the years that Bungie has wanted to go in a different direction with Destiny, and they didn't want to end up doing what they did with Destiny to date. Back when it was originally announced, it seemed like it was going to be one big massive game that was going to get continuous updates, and then they ended up dropping the sequel, which surprised a lot of people, as it didn't seem like it was going to be the type of game to have multiple sequels. It was just going to be one big game that got continuous content updates. Anyways, here's the joint statement that they released. It goes on to say, "Today we're announcing plans for Bungie to assume full publishing rights and responsibilities for the Destiny franchise. Going forward, Bungie will own and develop the franchise, and Activision will increase its focus on its own IPs as well as other projects. Activision and Bungie are committed to a seamless transition for the Destiny franchise and will continue to work closely together during the transition on behalf of the community of Destiny players around the world." So now this basically means that the only IP that Activision fully owns is Call of Duty. Now, why exactly am I making this video, you might ask, as I have never posted any content on Destiny. I've not really been a major fan of Destiny and haven't really played a ton of Destiny. Not to say that it's a bad game or anything, it just wasn't my style. The reason, however, that I am covering this, though, is this brings in the question, how bad is things actually over at Activision right now? Because we have heard that they are on a cost-cutting grind as of late, and with Destiny performing not as well as they wanted it to, and they are now completely dropping their partnership with Bungie. Does this mean that we are going to see some major changes coming to Call of Duty in the future titles, or even starting with Black Ops 4? This could have possibly just been a clean break that was coming for a long time, as Bungie has been basically saying forever now that they have been wanting to get away from Activision. As like I said earlier in the video, Activision hasn't been giving them the full freedom that they had wanted for their game. But I almost feel like this could be something more. Black Ops 4 also has not been performing, like I said, as well as the Activision executives have wanted it to. It did have a extremely buggy launch, nobody can deny that. Zombies was kind of unplayable depending on how you looked at it. If you only got to a certain round that was on the lower end rounds, then you could play it and enjoy it. But if you tried going for Easter eggs or going for a decent round, you would end up having an unplayable experience. So things went kind of sour for BO4, and it isn't performing as well as everybody had expected and hoped for it to. Does this mean that all of these decisions are coming because of the cost-cutting measures that Activision wants to incorporate, or is all of this just happening at the same time, just a big coincidence? I, for one, feel like some changes being made to COD would be welcomed greatly, however, only if they are done right. I don't think any changes made on the flip of the dime, especially because you want to cut costs, are a good thing at all, as usually anytime you see cost-cutting changes being made, it kind of gets bad and people don't like it. Just a quick example that kind of isn't really the best example, but goes along with this is, let's say I had a burger shop that had one of the most well-known burgers or something in the area, and I was like, you know what, we need to increase our profits, let's go ahead and start cutting some costs. Then I end up starting to get materials that aren't as good as before. The product itself is going to be less than it once was. So that's kind of how I feel about cost-cutting changes. It's not always a bad thing, but on the flip of the dime and with how things sound right now, if there are cost-cutting measures done to the game, I kind of feel like it's going to be more in a bad light than anything that could be good. Maybe this will be a blessing in disguise, as Activision has said it will now be able to focus more on Call of Duty. So possibly instead of seeing any cost-cutting measures, maybe this will give them the bigger budget that they need to send over some more money and help out their Call of Duty franchise more than they have been in the past. So instead of what I was saying earlier about them going majorly and cutting even more costs with them not having to deal with this, it could possibly mean that they will give more money to Call of Duty and allocate them the resources that they need. Or, like I was saying earlier, it could mean that they are on a cost-cutting rampage and they are going to also try and cut some things in the Call of Duty side, which I don't think is a good thing. Restructuring would be a good thing depending on how it is done. But again, I don't feel like it'd be a good thing if it was solely for the purpose of trying to make an extra dollar, especially with how much they already are asking and getting out of us, plus their microtransaction systems on top of that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this. As a Destiny player, this should be some great news, as Bungie will now be able to make the game as they want it to and focus solely on doing their own thing. As well as let me know as a Call of Duty player if you think that this is going to bring any major changes, or if this was all just one big coincidence in timing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this gameplay. It was a quick TDM game where I went 26-6 with the Spitfire. Anyways, if you enjoyed content like this and want to see more content like this, a subscription would be greatly appreciated. As always, this has been the Walkthrough King, and I hope to see you guys at the next one. Peace!